for
Ladies
him.
and gentlemen,
No.
we're announcing our second child today.
No. It's cut.
Birth stories. Everyone tells you theirs, and no two are ever the same. But I'll tell you, some are filled with more drama than others, and ours was semi-insanely dramatic, also semi-beautifully peaceful, and something really special. And we're really excited to share it with you. We're talking the full birth story today. B and I really dive into all of it, the quietest moments, the deepest moments, the most powerful moments, the most stressful moments, everything from our home birth and the moment that Zion came earthside and how amazing that was. We want to take you inside the journey today. And as we really dive in, I think you're going to enjoy hearing our perspective and our different experiences from Bia's point of view, from my point of view. And I think the coolest part is how we kept it together and how we were able to handle our journey through the birth. So I'm really excited for you guys to see this. And if you stick to the end, yes, we talk about resilience. Yes, we talk about partnership. Yes, we talk about the depths of everything. But ultimately, the funniest part is at the end where we tell you what happened once the birth was completed. Some crazy stuff went down. So stick out until the end. We're really happy you guys are here. Welcome to another episode of That Easy. Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Bia.
We don't have all the answers, but we're definitely in it. And if you're ready to lead your family by being more of yourself, not less, then you're in the right place.
We are so grateful to be in this with you.
This is That Easy. Let's get into it. The birth story.
The one that I'm most excited about.
Honestly, this is just going to be a Bia one. I'm just going to sit and watch today. Just see how this goes. Well,
you have your part of the story today.
I have lots of part of the stories, but I think in general, it's we really want to capture the essence of this crazy storm of an experience. It was this and that, oh my God, I totally forgot about post. We even talking about that.
And he's absolutely a dad now because he has a mustache and a hat dad.
Yeah. By the way, we should have a separate applause, for this mustache because it's raging. There are no rules anymore. I'm a dad. I can do whatever I want.
Dad jokes are coming.
So, did you know, folks? I didn't know this. Bea actually taught me this. That storms actually create barometric pressure. Barometric, don't know how to say that, but I know what it means. And can naturally induce labor. Moon changes impacting water and the water breaks and
so labor. A lot of people you probably have heard before, maybe not, but they say during the full moon, why babies are born during the full moon, or when the full moon is happening, the hospitals get filled with people having babies. And if you never heard that before, look it up. It's a real thing. And the reason is because the moon controls water. And we are mostly water, and the baby is in water. So when the full moon happens, there is this pressure and this impact that helps sometimes the water to break and induce labor, and babies are born. The same thing with storms. It creates I never know how to say this word.
Barometric
pressure, and then that creates the pressure in the body, and the water breaks and babies are born. So I didn't know that either about the rings, but
so basically we're witches. Is what we're
my midwife was like, "Oh, the rings are starting, so probably I'll have lots of births." And I was like, "What do you mean? Why?" So yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, and lo and behold,
yep,
it happened.
We can prove.
July 6th was.
He was born on July 6th,
so
this
July
happened.
5th.
No, this
happened.
No.
Oh God, I totally forgot. Okay, so these were
July
the
3rd.
monster.
Yeah.
So many people died in Texas. It was crazy. Right near us, there were these massive floods that took over, ran through towns. It was insane. The videos are crazy. So look that up. Texas floods, early July 2025. Crazy.
Yeah. July 3rd.
So it was pouring floods happening all over. And that's what Joni said, our midwife. She's like, you better be ready. And then that's when you started to have the trickling pee sensation.
Yeah. So it started from July 3rd in the middle of the night. I, as every pregnant woman in my pregnancy, I was going to pee 2, 3, 4 times during the night. In one of these times, I went back to bed. I had just pee, and I felt I just pee myself. And I was like,
she like stood up. Was like, I think I just peed myself. I was like, what? You just peed? It was very weird.
So I went back, I pee a little bit more, and then I went back to bed, and I felt like I peed myself. And it was not a pee sensation. It was just literally like I'm leaking. That's the sensation I had. But it was not as you saw in movies and in videos where like, you know, that rush of water broke. My water broke. And I always ask, like, how do you know that your water broke? And everybody would say, like, you will know. I didn't, because that was not what happened to me. What happened to me was I felt this like I pee myself. So I texted my midwife and I was like, I don't know if my water is breaking, but I'm leaking. And she was like, well, might be just the baby is pressuring your bladder and that's why you're feeling that. But then she came over, she did the test. There's a little test that you can use a strip for it and you test the water. And it was kind of inconclusive. One of them said that it was my water breaking. The other one was kind of inconclusive. So we were like, well, she said, it doesn't matter if it is or if it's not, because if it is your water, you're probably going to get in labor soon. So we were just watching. I was resting. It was a Thursday, a Friday, spent 2 days just like leaking the whole day. Like every time I would stand up, I would feel like that pee myself leaking sensation. Was kind of like we were both looking at each other. Is like,
is this about to happen?
Is that about to happen? Should
so
just,
crazy.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that was happening. And then this was Thursday the whole day, Friday the whole day. And then Saturday, I started feeling a little bit of cramps, just like menstrual cramps. So I started feeling the cramps starting to get worse and worse. I texted my midwife and she said, eat, go to bed early, take some Benadryl to sleep, try to sleep through early labor. That's the best thing that you can do, because then you skip a lot of like the beginning of the contractions, which I don't know how women do. That did not happen to me.
Concept of sleeping through contractions, I'm like,
I can't even imagine.
After watching this, how?
Yeah.
But maybe once you've done it before, like there's not the same excitement or like, I mean, you're about to do the craziest thing you've ever done in your entire life.
I can't even imagine the feeling that I had of the contractions. I can't sleep through.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's what she told us. I took 3 Benadryls.
Yeah.
I took 3 Benadryls and nope. No, there was no sleeping. At 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, the contractions start. And I was always asking myself, like, how do I know it's a contraction? You just know. It's literally like a feeling that it's a contraction. You just know it's a contraction. So I started feeling the contractions, and then that what we did the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, that was like that was the beginning, the real beginning of the surrender experiment of that birth experience, because I think there's so much preparation for 10 months, and then it's just God's work, you know, and you can prep the tub, you can do your birth plan, you can figure out hospital or birth, like all the things, right? Reminder, we did a home birth. We said that, we talked about that in previous podcasts, but we were here at home and it was just me and Bia, and you could do all the preparation you want. And then it hits a certain point where it's, you just got to let the storm be the storm, for lack of a better term. And I think there was, at that point, it kind of hit like, there's no controlling this anymore. And that was a big pill to swallow for me. It was like, there's nothing more to control. There's a whole lot of things I can do to help this move forward. There's a whole lot of support I can give. This was my mentality, but now it's just the natural process. And I think that's one of the most wild experiences I've ever had in my life, was that as we were going to bed, I was like chill and trying to keep it cool, but realizing like, this is just about to happen. We did like a little home video, like, how do you feel? And yeah, I remember saying like, it's been months and thinking about this and telling people and all this stuff. And in a few hours, our life will never be the same. We're going to be parents. Yeah. And it'll never be just the two of us again. That was a crazy moment.
Yeah. Also, if you want to see this video, we have the whole video of this process on our Instagram. So just check it out.
Yeah. So I think there was like a certain level headedness and steadiness to us, like a calmness. I think that's really important is that we created a space that could be calm.
Yeah,
was, like,
that was
super
very important.
settling.
I think this is one of the things that made our story successful, is the preparation that we had for this moment. I was very animated about having the curtains in the room, which Nick was like, why do we need that? I'm like, I need the curtains. I need a dark space. I need the bubble lights. He got me the bubble lights a day before, I think.
Oh yeah, I got the bubble lights.
I was like, I need the bubble lights. I need the affirmations cards in the room where we did in the room. So whatever is the place that you were choosing to do. But I wanted like everything ready. I want to see the place before. I want to make sure that I feel comfortable here. So I think all this preparation allow us to have a more calm and more peaceful. And there are moments that it's not peaceful and it's not calm. It's a lot of yelling, but it's like just a primal expression of the body.
Yeah, you're about to go into a massive performance, maybe the biggest performance of your life. Like,
definitely.
And you've got to show up, and to know that like the set is staged and that everything is in place. And if you want candles, you got candles. If you want incense, you got incense. If you need this, if you need, like, everything was organized and prepped. There's a certain amount of like comfort to that.
And it's not only comfort. I just want to say that, like, sometimes people might think like, oh, it's just because you want to be like a cute or like looking good space. But the reason for being dark and having the bubble lights and having like the affirmation cards, like all of that is, as mammals, we wanted the dark, right? We wanted, this is going to make us feel safe. So it's not only like, oh, this is cute.
You're saying mammals have to have babies in the dark?
Yeah, they look for a place where they feel safe. So like they look for like darker place. They try to go like away. So it's not like in the middle of everything, you know? So like this is a primal experience, and we humans, we feel the same. So the thing, and we spoke about that in another episode about hospital versus birthing center versus home birth, is that in hospital sometimes it's hard to control the scenario. So we were just talking with a friend who is having twins, and they are having in the hospital. And in this scenario, in the way that they are doing, they don't have the option to have like a dark
because they're going to be
space.
in the OR. Like,
yeah.
You have to have it in the OR if you have twins. Is what have to, but
yeah. So that's the challenge, because like we look for that. Like we feel safer. That's the reason. It's not just like, oh, I want a cute place for an Instagram thing. Like, it's not.
I feel so bad for animals that have to have babies like in a zoo.
Yeah.
With everybody watching.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. And I think part of what it did was it created a certain level of groundedness and anchoring for you, to prepare you to really lean in. And there's no question that at certain points, when we hit walls and we're coming up against it, what we need is a level of anchoring and groundedness and something we can kind of lean back on. And I think to a certain extent, I was that for you. To a certain extent, the space was that for you. To a certain extent, my freaking sweatshirt was that for you.
Yeah, that was, I did not expect that, but at some point, it's probably because of the contractions. Was when the contractions started, right?
Yeah,
right in the beginning.
Absolutely,
right?
It's because of the contractions.
There are moments and things like the timeline. Sometimes I get confused because I don't remember exactly. I think he can tell the timeline and things a little better. We had a watch in our room, so I remember seeing like some timestamp on what was happening. But the sweatshirt situation, I ruined one shirt and one sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And it's just because I needed to hold into
what she means
something.
Is literally like every single contraction, she would grab my shirt by my neck and just pull and like rip it off my body. And like my sweatshirt and shirts were destroyed. And I was just there letting her kind of rip the clothes off.
I just remember I need you physically close to me. And I remember holding your arm and holding your sweatshirt or holding your shirt. And I just needed like something to pull. And now thinking that I was not logical in this moment. I just needed to do it, and I just did. But now thinking, I have videos in my mind of women that are in labor, and they pull like a little like texture of something, like they sometimes give like
towel.
Yeah, towel or something for the woman to hold and pull. And now that I'm saying like kind of that was my instinct, and I was just trying to hold into something and pull, because that would give me like the strength, and like I think it would allow my body to just have kind of like this grounding feeling of like, I'm here, like everything is okay. I'm just like, ugh.
I think one of the craziest things watching you go through it was that you, as I know you, disappeared. Because you keep saying like, oh, I don't remember in that moment, or I was like in a different, as the partner, I'm not going through that. Like my body's not going through anything other than I'm exhausted and I haven't slept in like 36 hours.
And
but
your back hurts.
And my back hurts and whatever. But it's like this moment where you are so in your body. It's not like you escape your body. You're so in your body that all the things that we operate on, right? Like the looking good for people, or trying to be, trying to have my hair cute, or even just like how I talk to my husband or wife or whatever, all that's gone. None of it matters, because your body is in the deepest level of survival mode it's ever been in. Mm-hmm. So to watch you go into that was, I think I mentally prepared myself, but I definitely never emotionally prepared myself for that. Yeah. I'm not sure you can, but I do just want to like put that out there, that as the partner, you are watching, you have to be okay with watching your person disappear. What I didn't know, and this is kind of a tangent, but I just want to talk about it because it's coming up. I didn't know that I would never get her back. Like from that moment, you've never been the same. From the second those contractions really started, not the first contraction, but when you went into that place where you were no longer like, you didn't give a shit about my clothes or my sweatshirt, or you were hurting my arm, or none of that. You were literally every second. It was like a marathon. It was like a 400-pound person running a marathon. Every step is excruciating. Not every mile. Every single step is like, can I go again? Can I go another second? Can I go another second? That's what it felt like watching you. You watch a 400-pound person run a marathon, like they're going to stop and be like, I can't. And then they do 1, 2, 3 more steps and then fall down. I can't. That's what it looked like. And in that process, you were absolutely torn to shreds and just brought to your knees and humbled, like physically, to the point where your personality disappeared. Like you weren't like Bia going through birth and like, oh my God. It was just this raw, unadulterated. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It's hard to explain. Yeah. I say that because from that point forward, she went from like the deepest, most intense inner working of like a natural birth is that it's you go so deep inside yourself that all the external just doesn't matter. And then your child is birthed, and then, we'll talk about that part, but like then that mega shift happens, and I've never seen you since. Like I've never seen you as you were before that. You've never been back. And I don't think you're coming back for better, not for worse, for better. Like it's amazing.
I definitely don't feel the same for sure.
Yeah,
like
you're not.
Yeah.
So I'm Nick. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You're
too.
so fucking hot. I'm totally into you.
Still?
Oh my God, still. Woo. More. So yeah, I think in those moments, like what I experienced was that it wasn't about pushing harder. It was about being able to play the long game, going another step.
What was happening in that moment in the sweatshirt and the craziness and like hitting the wall. And it's just like, I think that's the moment that a lot of people say, like, that's the moment that you're going to choose to quit. That's the moment that you're going to choose the epidural. That's the moment that you're going to choose to go for a C-section. Because I had that thoughts on my head. And I remember thinking like, oh, it makes so much sense why people choose C-section. The people who have the option to choose, I just remember thinking about that. And I remember thinking, and it's almost like this conversation with God that I was in my head, where I was thinking, and I remember saying like, God, thank you for showing me what this is. And thank you for giving me clarity on why people should choose C-section. Because I think part of me was very judgmental before on like people choosing C-section, not people who has to have C-section. I'm talking about people who go there and choose to do C-section just because it's better for them. Because we know that technically for the baby is much better for a healthy baby, for a healthy pregnancy, for a healthy woman to birth naturally because of many things. But I'm not going to get into that. So I was a little judgmental on that. And I remember in that moment, like feeling like that.
Humbled.
Yeah.
I get it.
Me.
I get why people do this.
I get that. And next time, maybe I would choose C-section. Which is like, now looking back, that's not true. Now I understand. But it's like it's so painful. And it's a weird pain, you know, like I reframed pain in my head. And I have a new relationship with pain now. But in that moment, it's just like, it's an uncontrollable thing. So it's like, that is the moment that a lot of people go through the options of epidural, of C-section, of like, you know,
how'd you not do that? Or why? Like, what got you
I
there?
think, like, first of all, we put ourselves in a situation which wouldn't be allowed to have an easy access to that, you know? So like in the hospital.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I don't know. Maybe in the hospital I would have said, I don't think so.
I think there might have been a chance.
Yes. I probably at some point I would say, but I don't know. I just didn't put myself in a situation where I would have this option. If I wanted to get an epidural, I would have to quit like the scenario and the dream that I had of having a home, having this way. I would have to like, okay, that's not what I'm going to do. Let's go to the hospital, which I was open to if I needed. But I didn't need it. I just need to keep going through. But if I didn't want the pain, I would say like, give me the epidural.
It was such a metaphor for so many things in life. Like you want to get healthier, stop buying sugar and keeping it in the house. Yeah. Like make it more difficult to mess up.
Well, let me reframe this. It's not that to be healthy, you can't eat sugar, but if you are like trying to lose weight and you're trying to, you know, like change the way that for me, my example is I'm very, very addicted to sugar and I want a sugar all the time. So if I am in a diet and I want to cut sugar, having sugar at home, it's just very easy access.
Right. Don't do it is my point. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like, it's such a metaphor for life because the idea is don't put yourself in a position to screw up if you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And that obviously going to do a C-section is not screwing up. But if you're like, dude, I know in this moment the temptation is going to be real and I want to make it as difficult as possible to fall, as difficult as possible to screw up. Yeah. And I think that's what was fascinating about that was we just were like, let's put you in as far away from backing out as possible. And then if you need to back out, then we back out. And if that's the right thing to do, then we do it while still keeping you safe. Yeah. I think that was huge.
Yeah. And I think that's what allowed me to not opt for it's just like putting myself in a situation where I had the dream of this beautiful home birth and creating this beautiful experience for us, for our son, and giving him the chance to have the best birth ever. And that's what was it for me. So
it was putting yourself in a position and not like escape. It was having the right setting was a big one. Anything else that was like this? I mean, the birth was, we didn't even say this, by the way. The birth was wildly successful. Yes. Like outrageously successful. Right until the birth point. Everything after that was a shit show. Yeah. But like the birth was insanely successful. Peaceful, beautiful. Zion came out like it was amazing. It was amazing. So we didn't even mention that. We're just kind of like assuming people got it. Like it was a super successful birth in terms of what you would call a successful birth, I think.
For sure. It was a little long, but
no, not on the first time.
For me, it was like, long.
No shit.
Yeah, and I want to say like the whole preparation was a big thing. So I was very prepared into birth. I didn't know I was prepared, but now looking back, I was definitely prepared. I practiced a lot of my hypnobirthing techniques. I really studied about it. I knew what I was into. I was trusting myself. I had the whole affirmation thing ready. So I think that also allowed me to go through it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the trusting thing, just the concept of trusting this whole process. I think that was a big theme. When it comes to life in general, control is a big deal for a lot of us. Mm-hmm. We want to control things. We want to, when I think about my life, how many things I'm trying to manage and control. And like, the more I control it, the better it's going to be. Yet I have so much proof, if I'm willing to really look, and I think most of us do, that when we let go of things, when we actually just let and release and stop the micromanaging and hyper control, to a certain extent, that allows things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our ability to release control of a lot of these things, and like really specifically your ability, let's just talk about for the specific birth, control release on both ends. Like I'm interested to see what that means to you and what that meant to me at that time.
Well, yeah, the release of control and the trust, they played a huge role into birthing this child and having the experience that we had. We were just the two of us. It was the two of us for most of the birth. So the whole process started at 10 p.m. The baby was born at 8:37 a.m. of the next day. And our midwife was just there at 7 a.m.
That is a crazy concept.
So the whole process, most of the birth was just the two of us.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right?
It's actually not. Makes so much sense now.
Looking back, if someone told us like most of the birth is going to be just the two of us, we would be like,
do you think that's because it's like it's now become a medicalized thing, like it's a surgery?
Yeah.
Because it makes, now that I've done it, to be home and be by yourselves, just the two of you, it's the most intimate experience of your entire life.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. No-brainer. Like if you're not dealing with any complications or, something outstanding, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That part of it. And I'm like, that was probably the most important part, was that it was you and me. It was the realest of real, the rawest of raw.
I did hit a point where I was like,
Joni.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a point where I was like, if my midwife is not here, Johnny, if you're listening to that, I had a point where I was like, bring Johnny right now. And I was like, call her. I want her on the speaker. I want to talk to her. I think it was like, 4 a.m.?
Yeah, I was
the moment
texting.
that I started feeling like things were just too intense. Yeah. I was just getting too intense. And I was like, oh my God, like I need support. And it's not that you were not giving me support. I needed like someone that understands.
No, let's talk about this for a second. You needed, I'm not saying no, I'm saying yes. I want to speak to the men for a second. There was such a humbling process in that, because especially for a guy who's like, I got emotions. I was ready for daddy doula mode. Like I was so ready to like support you. I was not expecting what happened, which was like, there was a certain level where I couldn't give you what you needed.
Yeah.
And I think the only person who could was somebody who's been through it, like a woman that represented the other side, or God, like you and yourself and God, if you were doing it alone. There's a certain point for us where Nick couldn't provide what needed to be provided. And I think I did an amazing job leading up. I did all the stuff. I like nailed it. But there was a certain point, and I had to trust Joni big time. I had to trust you big time to just let you, like, Bia was looking at me like, I don't know if I can do this, all night long. Like, ow, I can't. Blah. Wait, not cute like that. It was like dark and like heavy. And then at one point, like, she didn't want to look at me anymore. Like, you were not interested in, it wasn't that you didn't want me there. It's exactly what I just said. Yeah. It was almost like the elder. Like, you needed a woman who was just like, you're on the other side and that's where I'm headed. Show me that place exists.
I needed someone to remind me that everything would be okay, but someone that have been there.
Yeah.
So it's not that I needed like the check. I just needed like the groundness and someone that I trust because she's been there. That's it.
Yep.
And yes, I trust you. And yes, you are my, but you haven't been there before, like you can't speak from that place. So that's what I needed. So at that point I needed Joni there. Nick, we didn't have the bath ready. I started bleeding a lot. It's just like we were talking to her through text. So I was like, get her on the speaker. Joni, where are you? And she's like, I'm going. And I was hearing her, I'm going. I knew she was still not. This was like 5 a.m. Yeah, it was like 2 hours before she arrived here. So I was like, I need you here. Please come, please come, please come. So when she arrived at 7 a.m. was the moment that I just got into the pool. And that was the first moment that I felt a certain like relief, because it was the moment that I could relax in between contractions when I was in the pool. And that it was the moment that I think like the contractions are starting to be like my body really pushing by itself. And I think that's the trust piece, because, and that's, I did a little bit of research. So I knew a little bit of that. Like a lot of people say you need to push, you know, like that videos that I've seen in the hospital. It's time to push. And they ask the woman to push. But this is because a lot of them are with epidural. So they are not feeling their bodies. So they are seeing the baby and they are asking the woman to push. But naturally, you don't need to push. You absolutely don't. Your body do what it needs to do.
Yeah, a baby's
your
coming whether you like it or not.
Literally take the baby and the baby will come by itself. So that, I think, for me was a big release control, and my body will do what it needs to do, and I need to trust. And I think what for me, and that's one of my biggest lessons through the birth experience, it's like literally trusting my body, trusting my baby, trusting the process, trusting God. It was a huge, like a level of trust I have never experienced before. And you know, like that's what I do for a living. I help people to trust themselves. I do a lot of this, but that is a new level, a deepest level of trust that I think you can only experience when you go through something like that.
So here's the cool part. So that's Bia's version of trusting. And then there's this insanely magical balance of the feminine masculine of what trust looks like. Is this dance. So like Bia's version of trust through this process, the deeper we got into it, the more she had to just really completely let go and let her body just do what it does. And the closer she got to that, to the actual birthing, the further away Bia's personality got, which was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it shows me how much of a controller you are in life.
Yeah, he kept saying for me, even after like how I was not there. And for me, in my experience, I felt like I was there.
You were so there.
It's kind of like this balance between like, I was so present and I was so aware of everything that was happening. And I could see conversations, you know, I told you, like, I see Joni and Kelsey looking at each other and kind of communicating. I'm aware of what's happening, but I just don't care.
Right. My point being, like, there's a level of complete trust and surrender that, like, the control thing it was gone. Like I saw as time went on, you were like, can I do this? Should I try and lean this way? I remember you like asking different positions you should do and whatever. And then at one point there was no more asking. Your body would just say, and you would just roll. Your body would say, and you just lean. Like you would just start doing things. And this Bia who's like trying to figure it out disappeared. And the Bia who just knows came through. And that was amazing. So that was like the feminine aspect. That was the birthing aspect. That was the Bia's version of trust. And then there was the Nick version of trust, which almost seemed like the complete opposite. It was, I can trust myself to do, like do this, try that, be that, blah, blah, blah. The list of things that was going on, like I was daddy doula because we only had a midwife, not a doula. I was controlling all the videography, which sounds ridiculous, but like, we had our friend Victor coming, who was going to video the whole experience, and he didn't make it in time, unfortunately. So I like borrowed my friend's camera, and I was documenting the whole thing with like my phone and Joni's phone once she got there, and the camera and all that stuff, because that was really important to us to have. I was doing the stim machine on Bia's back every time she had a contraction. I was making sure I clicked the button so it like
I also looked that up because that was very supportive.
I was making sure she had water. I was making sure she had food. I was making sure that I was communicating with Joni. Every contraction, I had to click the start and stop, because the timing of the contractions is everything. Once it hits a certain point, we know that like, okay, Joni's got to come. So if nobody's timing the contraction, Joni doesn't know when to come. We don't know how close the baby is.
So I think you play 3 big roles. My partner, which is extremely necessary, needed, important. My doula.
Daddy doula.
And The videographer, photographer.
Yeah, and the setting up the pool. Like I had to blow up an entire pool with hot water, make sure it's not too hot, run back and forth from the other bathroom. You know, like all these things, get Bia traveling her from bathroom to or shower to toilet to, and then you're also talking you off the ledge. Like there was so much that was happening there.
So crazy. I don't remember a lot of these things.
I remember all of it because I was like, my trust was I can do this. I can hold this space for her. I can handle this. I can be confident. Now, at points I had to run downstairs and like when Joni got here, I came downstairs and I bawled my eyes out.
Yeah.
I bawled my eyes out because watching your partner go through that it's talk about surrender. It was one of the hardest things I ever did because I can't come save you. I can't like, hey, baby, I got this. Don't worry about it. I can't. Our relationship always at a certain point, you know, you're like one of the strongest women I've ever met. And there's a certain point where I just kind of know like, you're done. Like let me take this. I couldn't do that. And even if I wanted to, I would never, I'm not strong enough. Simply not strong enough. I couldn't do it, what you did. I know it. And because that's just how we're built. So like allowing that, staring over your woman, screaming in agonizing pain and not being able to do anything.
Isn't that crazy that like we see men and it's like man is the strong, like, you know, they have the muscles, they have like the strong body. And then one of the things that is like the strongest thing that you can ever do, which is like birth a child, is the women who do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a new level of strength. So all to say, like my version was very, like do this, do that, make sure this, make sure that. There was a lot of thinking and processing and figuring out, whereas Bia's version was literally completely let go. And she couldn't, I don't know if she could let go to the extent that she did if I wasn't in the role that I was in and dialed. And I was fucking dialed.
Yeah, you were.
I showed up and I'm proud of that. And like, that's why I'm geeking on the dad thing, rocking the dad hat, like husband hat. I showed the hell up. And that was preparation that we did together for a long time. So in the trust thing, to me, trust, nothing about it was passive for either of us. Like you actively sought out letting go and releasing. I actively sought out trusting this process and knowing I can, like there was such active trust in there, which I thought was beautiful.
And then our baby arrived.
And then the kid shows up.
Yeah.
I think the coolest part for me was I caught him. So not only doula, doctor.
The first
Dr. Doula daddy.
The first touch that he ever felt in his life. The absolutely first is his daddy.
Yeah, I remember Bia was like bent over the tub. You can watch the video. And the midwife goes, I think I see his head. Do you want to touch his head? And I'm like, in her vagina? Touch his head in her vagina? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I put my hand down there and I feel he came out very hairy. His hair, he had a lot of hair. And and I'm like, that is not a normal Bia. Like that is not Bia. Like, the second I touch his head, Bia like turns around at me.
I got
like,
so mad. I was angry.
Get
like,
your hands out of my area.
Why is he putting his hand here right now?
Joni told me.
I just like literally look at him and he knew exactly what I meant.
Maybe 2 minutes later, boop, underwater. I am looking at Bia's ass cheeks and my son's head out and facing me like upside down Spider-Man style. And he's looking at me. I mean, his eyes are closed, but he's underwater just like, and I'm looking at her butt and this kid like up to his neck, his whole head is out. And I'm like, this is insane. Do I pull him? Obviously I wasn't actually going to do anything. Yeah. And thank you to, Joni for getting us prepped for this. Cause I remember just being so cool. Like it's good. And it's very weird. Your kid's underwater. Your instinct is grab the kid. No, he hasn't opened his lungs yet. He hasn't taken his first breath. So he's chilling. Bia has a contraction. His head comes out and it's just up to his neck. Bia stops the contraction.
Before you go there.
Okay. Sorry.
Take it easy. So I think that is kind of like a very important part of the process because before the experience, I don't think I ever talked about it or ever think about it, that the baby could be born in different phases, like in different contractions. So like what happened and what he's trying to tell is like he first birthed his head and then his body.
Like you thought it was just going to be like,
yeah, that's what you always think, right? You see like the baby and you think like you push and then the baby is gone off your body, but it's not what happened. It's like the contraction is what takes the baby out. So if what happened to me is I had a contraction, his head was out, the contraction was gone. And I felt his head out, but his body was still inside of me and I had no contraction. So in that moment, I just knew I needed to wait another contraction. So for like, I don't know, a minute and a half, maybe, it was in the in-between. So his head was out. I was in the pool. A minute
and a half, I'm staring at her ass with this kid's head out. It was crazy.
And I think for me, it was just a big relief because I was pushing for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. That's what it felt like. Johnny said around an hour and a half. For so many times I would have a contraction. His head would go out, like I would feel in my canal and then it would go back. So many times was like
prairie dogging it at a whole new level.
So the head was going out. So the moment that I felt his head out, totally out, was already like a big relief.
Yeah, the biggest part just came out.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I need to rest. My body need a break.
I remember you saying, you looked right up at Kelsey and you were like, I think I need a break. I'm going to take a break. And you knew it was break time. And I was like, she's taking a break with his head.
And then I remember just like my body relaxing. And then the contraction was coming. And I would feel my body tensing it up again. And I just remember hearing them saying like, soften your shoulders, relax your body. And that's what we need to do through these contractions. It's like through the pushing, like when the baby is coming. Like, yes, your body will push, but you need to allow your body to relax. And that's what's going to help, especially with the tearing. And I was terrifying of tearing. Thank goodness I didn't. But I think there are two biggest things that I think help to not tear. One is the perineal massage because it helped the tissue, right? So look that up. We're not going to be talking about that, but look that up. We did a lot of like perineal massage in preparation for the
dudes. What that means is helping your wife massage her vagina wider. Like literally.
Not necessarily the dudes need to do. You can do yourself. In our case, it would much better.
I was happy to support.
Yeah.
In and outs, up and down, scoops,
whatever.
All these things.
So look it up.
Pretty crazy.
And then the second thing was whenever the contraction would come, you had to soften my body. So I just remember listening to Kelsey and Johnny, like, relax your shoulders, soften it up. And then when the second contraction came, instead of like, like trying to push, I just remember trying to relax my body and let the contraction do what it needs to do. And that's when the rest of the body came. And then at 8:37 a.m. on a Sunday, July 6th, 2025, Zion arrived and healthy,
right into daddy's hands.
Cutie. And then he was so in tiny. My chest. And
7 pounds, 9 ounces.
Yes.
Super cute.
And then 40 minutes later.
Hold on. The piece.
Yeah.
That was new. Mm-hmm. What I thought was going to be what you see in a hospital. Go, ding, ding, ring, blah, 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 like pricking and prodding and whatever and screaming. The kid made one. And then he just looked at us and he didn't cry for 2 days. He was perfect.
I remember him looking at us.
He just stared at us.
That was a beautiful moment. Like he just opened his eyes and he was like holding his hands like he always does. And then he was just like looking at us. He was just like, what's happening?
And this was that moment that Bia switched and went from like primitive mode, primal mode to a human again. It was like nothing happened. It was the weirdest sensation to experience. Like my heart was like, wait, what? I was in this, oh my God, please make this stop, but also don't stop, keep going. And then she turned over, took him on her chest and started talking as if it were like a regular Sunday morning. We were headed to church. And I'm like, what? It was crazy. And she wasn't the same ever again, but you weren't in that like primitive mode anymore in a second. So like, just remember as a support system, this will pass. Be with her, and she'll get to the other side.
To the next contraction, because after you birth the baby, you have to birth the placenta.
That's true.
So that is also a contraction. Of course, it's not as painful as birthing a child, a human, but it's also very uncomfortable and very painful.
Yeah. I think a cool metaphor for this is like the contractions and relaxations of life. Like there's going to be moments where we contract and things are just without our control happening. And then what you have shown me is like, breathe through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Breathe through the pain. The pain's going to stop. It can't keep going like this. It may go another step or 2 or 3, but then it's going to stop. Mm-hmm. So breathe through the contraction. And then once the contraction is done, that's a great time to be like, how are you doing? Are you good? Do you need something? What's next? How can we prepare? What do we do? And in life, I think often when the contraction comes, it's like, push, do this. And it's like, no, that's not the time. During the contraction, go get the massage. Mm-hmm. During the tough time at work, go get the massage.
Breathe through it.
Breathe through it. During the like tough argument, grab your partner's hands, take 3 deep breaths together. Like during the tough times, that's when you breathe, not the other way around. Not when it's easy. That's when we go like meditate and walk in the park. Switch that.
Do that too.
Also cool.
I have a question for you. What do you think was the most helpful thing for you that allowed you to show up in the way that you did and play the roles, especially the role of a partner? But what do you think was the thing that helped you the most? Like, is there anything that you did just to prepare, or?
I think all this. Mm-hmm. I cannot recommend more that people do what we just did with Dad Easy. I'm not saying make a podcast, but this was never intended to be a podcast. This was like a
journal,
a verbal journal. But then I was like, ooh, that's me in my classic. Like, let's buy a second microphone and figure it. So annoying. But then it became this thing where it was like, let's make it look cool for ourselves. It had nothing to do with making it something. And nonetheless, the more that we got to talk about it and the more that we got to open up about this stuff, and because we were doing these, we also had conversations offline of like, what is it that we want to talk about? The preparation, like our baby moon, and like really working through everything that is important to prepare for. Mm-hmm. I did a ton of research. I made it. I realized that I'm not going to be the one doing this. So I'm going to be traffic control. Mm-hmm. So I damn sure better be knowledgeable.
Do you think that there is like if you could rank 3 biggest things for you to research and so you can be specifically about the birth experience,
understand
not like to
birth,
be a dad.
Like research birth. Mm-hmm. Actually research what the process is. Because you did the hypnobirthing, I was walked through so much of that. And then I did my own research, just understanding how delusional the whole story is about.
So it's more about like the scenario, or more about anatomy and physiology?
No, anatomy and physiology. What's happening in the body. And you don't need to be a doctor, but like study what your woman is about to go through. Mm-hmm. Understand I knew you were going to start getting smaller or like the time is it's going to intensify, but the time is going to shorten. And like, I knew what was coming. Mm-hmm. So I was prepared. Talk to doulas. Mm-hmm. Meet a doula. Mm-hmm. Get on
even
the phone
if you don't
a
have one, right?
No, even if you don't have a doula.
But have a doula.
Yeah, have a doula. But go set up an appointment with the doula and ask them what they do and let them talk about what they do. Mm-hmm. I just started researching what doulas do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and then I had 2 doulas that I had deep conversation with. Mm-hmm. And I just learned a lot about what it means to hold space in those settings. And that was huge. Mm-hmm. I think the third thing is when it comes specifically to the birth, like or you're asking like a specific thing to study? Like to research?
Like what prepare you the most? If you could choose 3 things that help you to prepare the most for the birth, you said like research. So what are the things that you would research?
I think the setting is a big deal.
The setting.
Yeah, just like have conversations with your partner about what you want, and then really do your research about like, not even research, just I made sure the bubble lights were there. I made sure the affirmations were hanging. I made sure the curtains were there, right? And so you did a lot of this too, but just making sure all that was prepared. Mm-hmm. That was huge. And yeah, just like daddy podcasts and stuff. I didn't listen to one, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. I didn't listen to any podcasts, but I don't know. Talk to other men. Talk to other fathers. I did have I definitely had a bunch of conversations.
Well, you
with
didn't
men
listen to a specific podcast, but you were having conversations and
with
listening to other dads
who were saying like, you're going to feel useless after the first day, blah, blah, blah. So I think that really prepared me.
Great. That's awesome.
Anything that was specific as like a standout for you that allowed you to kind of feel empowered? I mean, there's a billion things, but to have this natural, like to feel like we had a really successful birth, as we said. What allowed that to happen? Is there one main thing?
One? No,
one.
There's not one. Like there are a few things that in combination. I think number one was the hypnobirthing certification. For me was a big thing. It shifted a lot for me. I went to go deeper, so you don't need to go through a whole certification. I did because it was something that I already wanted to do it, and I was waiting to be pregnant to do it. I wanted to be able to learn and to support other women through it. Like my business is in breath work and meditation and mindset, so I already had that part, and I wanted to include that. So that's why I did the certification. You don't need to do a certification, but it definitely allowed me to go way deeper. And through that, I learned about anatomy, physiology. I learned about breathing techniques. I learned about hypnosis technique. I learned about so many things. And that allowed me to have the successful experience that I had. So that's the main thing. But I think like little things that I did as someone, not as a practitioner, but as someone that was going through the experience. I think the affirmation cards, which you see that I didn't think would play a big role, but like making them, not only having them, but making them and spending the time to think the intention behind each card that I was doing and having them there played a big role because it was like part of my process of like preparing it, The other thing was the TENS machine. I didn't know that they would be super helpful. They really helped me through contractions. Yeah. And, shower, the bath, they were definitely very helpful in my physical process. And just like talking to God a lot and talking to my baby a lot. All of that really, really, really helped me.
Yeah. And nothing like your husband doesn't matter at all.
No, my husband was amazing.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, we want to end by telling what my husband did, which is after the birth experience, we birthed the baby, we had the baby. A few hours later, we are laying in bed. He looked at me laughing and saying, this is going to sound ridiculous, but he looked at me and said, my back is killing me. We just look at each other. We laugh so hard.
You got to understand. I was leaning over that tub for like 6 hours straight, leaning over the bed for 8 hours straight, like nonstop leaning over to help you. Whatever. My back hurt. Okay. It was real. I was being honest.
Funny.
But this is the funniest part. If you made it this far, it's so you could hear this. So we finished the birth rapid fire. We have to tell this because it's the most important. We finished the birth. We're laying there, be it birth the placenta in the tub, and
wait. If you're telling about the name, this is a whole nother podcast.
What
is it about the name?
No. I mean that's funny too. Bia just decided to pick.
No. We're gonna tell in another podcast.
Come to the next podcast.
Why and how we chose the name of our baby.
Yeah, well, that's a good one. So we get Bia out of the tub. I'm out of the tub. Get the baby, like whatever. We do the whole thing. Bia's in bed now. And our midwife and doula start, our midwife starts emptying the bath.
Oh
and
my
the way
God.
they do this is through a pump, and they soak it through a tube, and it goes into our bathtub on the other side of the house. So they like start that pump, and it's a new pump. They've never used it. This is an hour after the kid's born. And Joni walks into the bathroom, and we hear,
oh my God.
Shit. And I
think she said, oh my God.
Maybe first, oh my God. And I was like, Joni? And then nothing. And then she goes, shit. And nothing. And I walk in, I'm like, Joni. And squish. The placenta pool has now overflowed into the entire upstairs bathroom and out into under the rug, through the freaking ceiling, into I'm hearing a waterfall sound. I walk downstairs. It is coming through the ceiling down into my office, in the closet in my office, It is a pool. I mean, you're walking, squish, 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 all like amniotic fluid. Okay. And because it's coming through the ceiling, it starts oozing through the fire alarm, through the vents.
A super peaceful experience.
And then I'm holding Zion down here, like he's an hour old, and the fire alarms start going off in the house. Wee, wee, because the water triggered it. And they stay on for 30 minutes and we cannot turn them off.
Oh my God.
It was unreal. It was so freaking funny because it's like this peaceful, beautiful, and then like places just filled with like absolute chaos. Water everywhere, fire alarms going off. Absolutely hilarious. So that was how Zion came in, which matches very much Daddy's birth story, which is a story for another day.
But it's so funny because, you know, we were laughing probably a day after at each other because we put the pictures down. They're all like, we were just saying, like, we always said this baby's coming into our life and it's not going to change anything, you know? And then here he comes and making a statement. I don't think so.
He's like, Dad, let me explain something. Your life is mine now. Like everything. Yeah. When Bia says pictures of the wall, like we had our wall set up with like the pictures we like, whatever. He comes in and we have to like take all the pictures off because we're scared it's going to fall onto his like little changing table. And we're looking around like the house is his.
I'm breastfeeding and my head is hitting on the painting that we have in our bedroom. We had to take that out, like a whole thing.
I feel like
that's it. It's like the most beautiful thing that you can ever do. Yeah. And it's so fun and it's awesome. And we would do it all over again.
Go have babies. You would? Ladies and gentlemen,
no.
We're announcing our second child today.
No. It's cut.
Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been cut by Bia. That's our birth story. Really appreciate you guys watching with us. I hope you enjoyed it. And
thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. I'm so happy we did that.
Great.
Got it.